Who gets the first shout out today? Anybody without my... All right, Colton, Josh, James, Tara, and Mason here. Wow, that was a big shout out. Sorry. All right, thanks Davis family for being so quick to jump on there. Good morning in Tucson. I'm assuming your weather is just as beautiful there as it is here today. Who is the Cherie Slusher? Good morning. Yeah. And Rachel Brown. Just hit love 50 times. We love the love. Everybody can hit that button the whole episode long. We enjoy that. Thank you. So let's see what we've got. So thank you, Rachel. And Xander, thanks for showing love. And tell you what, Xander, every time you hit that heart 50 times, I'll say your name. How's that? Actually, there's no way I can pay attention to that while I'm talking about the creature, but feel free to just sit there and push it the whole time. That's great. Is there such thing as too much love? Especially now? Probably not. Especially with this creature, right? I think everybody can hear this guy enjoying his breakfast. That's the breakfast of champions right there. Yeah, some good Boston lettuce. That's what everybody needs to have. All right, I'm seeing the hearts. I'm assuming that's Xander. Thanks, buddy. All right. So, got about another minute or so before we'll officially start. We'll let everybody else jump in. So where are you from, Xander? Let's chat. I haven't chatted with anybody like this in a while. Let's see. I can still read what's coming in. Oh, Donna says hi. Hi, Donna. Donna's been following along, asking a lot of questions and things. So thanks for that. And let's see. You also have to kind of realize, folks, there's a little bit of a lag. So you might ask the question, and then it might be a minute before I get to it. So I'm just waiting to see where Xander is coming in from, and find out things like, how old are you, Xander, and what's your mom's credit card number and zip code? No, don't give me that. I'm kidding, man. All right.
From Klamath Falls, Oregon.
From Oregon. All right. That we watching all the way in Oregon. Well, you guys have lettuce in Oregon. See, you could be having the same breakfast as the infamous Stumpy the Tortoise here. All right. Well, I'm going to look and see the official time is 11:01. So let's get started. I'll introduce you. You just keep watching this fella have his breakfast. This is Stumpy the Tortoise. And Stumpy the Tortoise is an African spurred tortoise. Some people call them sulcatas. We actually talked about sulcatas and saw some of them in our Turtle versus Tortoise episode last week. But he's a special tortoise. See, normally a sulcata, an African spurred tortoise, would live out in the deserts of, well, Africa, hence the name. And they would live in a hole in the ground, and they would eat things like cactus and lettuce, and no, not lettuce. They don't have that growing wild in Africa. No, he'd eat grasses and flowers and leaves and things like that. But Stumpy the Tortoise here, well, he was born in captivity. He's never been out in the wilds of Africa, but he still has the same diet. And so he's going to eat all kinds of things like grass. He's eating his whole yard's grass up. We actually have another yard he has to go in so that he can grow grass in one yard while he eats it in the other, and then go back to that one, and because he eats so much. And you can see right now while we're watching today, he just ate an entire small head of lettuce. And we'll feed him a few other things in just a bit as we go. It's one of the few things that keeps him staying in one area and not wandering around. But being an African spurred tortoise, normally he would live in the wilds of Africa, but he came to us about 15 years ago. He's very special. I didn't really get his story, but what happened was I came home one day, and on my front porch there was a box, and inside the box were two baby African spurred tortoises. They were both about maybe that big. So about maybe 4 or 5 years old. Sorry, buddy, go back. So about the size of that head of lettuce is how big Stumpy was. But there was two tortoises in there, and I got the first one out, and it was cool and nice. I put it in the yard with the other tortoises. They got along great. Then I got this guy out, and I noticed right away he's a little different. You see, if you look closely right over here at his front right leg, he's actually missing part of his front leg. His legs should be longer. He should have claws on the end for digging holes. He should have armor plating on the front of his legs to protect his face from potential predators by pulling his legs in. But he's missing part of his front right leg. I don't know what happened to him. He's actually completely missing his front leg. But I put him out in the yard. Had never got the story of what happened to Stumpy the Tortoise. Here, we'll mix it up. I'll give you a little piece of old celery. Yeah, fresh from Buffalo Wild. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually not so fresh, and it is from a grocery store. But there you go, buddy. We'll give you a couple of pieces of that. We'll give you one. So, I love the crunch of celery, don't you? In any case, Stumpy, I got him out. I noticed he was different. Now, realized he wasn't born like this. But something had happened to him when he was younger, and he lost 1.5 legs. And so, I put him out in the yard with the other tortoises, and I was kind of wondering, can he even move? Can he get around? And I watched him, and he would kind of clunk around and kind of inch around, trying to hang out with the other tortoises and eat the grass. And it was working okay for him. But then I got to thinking about it and said, you know, the poor guy, there's got to be something we can do to help him out. So, talking with my neighbor, it took us about a year to figure out how to help Stumpy the Tortoise. Well, we finally were able to do it, and now Stumpy the Tortoise has a wheel. That's right, a tortoise with a wheel. Now, it's not every day you see a tortoise with a wheel. Sorry about that, buddy. Here you go. But it's not every day you see a tortoise that needs a wheel. You see, without his leg, he couldn't move around very well. But once he got his first wheel, he did great. In fact, the first year that we had Stumpy the Tortoise, he didn't grow. He didn't get any bigger, really. I mean, he didn't get sick, but he didn't grow like they normally do. And then once we figured out how to put a wheel on him, the next year he doubled in size. And this is not the original wheel. The original wheel was actually a little red razor scooter wheel. And that razor scooter wheel was pretty good size on him. And it's held on to the shell with a metal frame. And this is not the original metal frame, but the first one worked well. And then as he grew, we had to figure out how to make it to where it didn't impact him negatively, only positively. So what we decided was, how do we attach the wheel? That was the first question, right? How do you, oh, he's looking around for more food. Oh, look, boom, magically from the sky fell some broccoli. Yes. Oh, yeah, variety is the key when feeding a tortoise, that's for sure. Yeah, and I know he doesn't even care if there's any cheese sauce. To me, that's the only reason I think that there is broccoli on the planet. It's a good reason to eat more cheese. But he doesn't seem to know that part. By the way, if I put cheese on it, he would still eat it. But in any case, he's interesting and different because of that wheel. But having that frame on there, we didn't want to drill it in. Even though all a tortoise shell is basically fingernail over bone, we could drill into that. But then what? Then as it grows, what if it cracks? What if it gets infected? What, you know, that's going to kill him. So we had to find some way to attach it to where it could then allow him to grow. And that was the hard part, is finding some kind of you know, glue type thing. Well, epoxies are great for this sort of thing, but what we found is that epoxies, they're two different things that you mix together, and when these chemicals mix, then they're liquid, but then they harden and stuff, and they get very, very hot. Well, he's a reptile. We couldn't put something on him that's going to get 180 degrees. So we tried different things. Well, my wife one day says, why don't we try liquid nail? And I thought, well, liquid nail, that takes forever to cure, but it won't be hot, so let's try it. So his first wheel was attached by building a special vise that he had to sit in sideways. And then we cleaned everything up. We made the metal frame to fit perfectly. And then we went ahead and put it on, duct taped it in place, and put liquid nail on there. Well, he had to stay in that position for 48 hours while it was that he was getting that curing process. Then we put him out in the yard, but we didn't have the wheel on the frame because we couldn't have pressure on it. And he had to hobble around for a week. Then we got his wheel back on, and it worked out very well. But we made it to where as he grew and his scales got wider, this part would then break free, which meant that we would have to replace it. Well, that's what happened. So about once a year, the first few years, that would happen. We'd see it starting to break free. We'd get it. Then he got so big, we had to add metal pieces to it. And we thought, well, we'll just add an extension, you know. Well, that didn't work. We found out that what works best for him is for the wheel to actually grow as he grows. So he's had to get a bigger wheel each time. And now what happens is he gets a new wheel about once a year or so, depending on the wheel, because he actually wears them out. fact, I think this one's only rated like 30,000 miles. I don't really know. But in any case, as he wears out the wheel, then we can replace the wheel. And now that he's more full grown, he doesn't grow as fast, we don't have to worry about the actual frame coming off, except for about every 2, maybe 3 years now, the bigger that he gets. But the first wheel that we had on him, I put it on, got him in there, I put him out in the yard, and he actually took a step forward like he normally would, and then he pushed with his leg, and he spun to the right. And there was this look on his face as if, what just happened? He literally had an expression of wonderment, and that's when I realized he had never been able to move that way before. So he did. He pushed himself in a circle, kind of trying out this new thing. And now he's figured it out well. And when he walks, which we'll do in just a bit, you'll see he'll pick it up, put it down, slide it across. Pick it up, put it down, slide it across. He can pick it up and move over and kind of use it to go sideways and grip so that he can move both directions. He can even back up now because of it. It's very easy for me to back him up because of it, because it's like a wheelbarrow. I grab the back and just roll him somewhere, which is good because last time we weighed Stumpy the Tortoise, he weighed about 80 pounds. Yeah, so it's not the lightest tortoise, that's for sure. But having the wheel has definitely helped him. Now, I mentioned earlier he's super famous. People all over the world are friends with Stumpy the Tortoise on Facebook. They follow him on Twitter and all these things. And it's funny because people love him and his story. And have always kind of wondered things like, okay, how long has he had the wheel? How old is he? And so on. I don't know exactly how old he is. I'm pretty sure that he was about 4 or 5 years old when we got him. But I don't know. I've never got the story. I don't know. I never talked to who dropped him off. So I don't know exactly how old he is. But we've had him for 15 years. So I think he's probably about 20 years old or so. But the funny part is I get the question, well, what happened to his leg? I don't know. I never got the story, but I know he wasn't born that way. Now, it could have been that he got hit by a car. Maybe he got attacked by a dog. Maybe he got hit by a lawnmower. Maybe Shredder mistook him for a Ninja Turtle and hacked at him with a sword. I don't know. But whatever happened to him, he's missing that 1.5 legs. Let me grab another little thing for you here. Here, I tell you what. Let's move that over here, and we'll see him move. Because not only does he like red things, but he likes peppers. Yeah. He likes peppers. He likes fruits and vegetables of all sorts. And, well, you got to see a little bit of how he moves there. There we go. He's going, hey, thank you, Wild Man Phil. I appreciate the nice, tasty red pepper. There's certain foods that I like to watch him eat more than others. His favorite food, by the way, anybody want to guess? I'll give you a hint. I haven't given it to him yet. And I don't even have any now to give to him. But his favorite food... strawberries. Yep, his favorite food is strawberries. And when he eats a plate of strawberries, when he gets done, he looks like one of my daughters when they got into my wife's makeup and they had lipstick all over their face and looked like a clown. Because he just gets all into that strawberry business, that's for sure. But it's interesting because he's so unique and so different that people just love him. He has his own fan page on Facebook, which feel free when we're done today to jump over and like that page and follow Stumpy the Tortoise. He has met a lot of famous people and different things. He's had a really good life. But he's not done yet, that's for sure. Of course, he's still got a lot of, age left. Being an African spurred tortoise, he can live to be over 100 years old, probably closer to 150. And of course, we're hoping that he does. Of course, that means he's going to outlive me. But with that being said, you got it going there? I'm going to see if we can get him to move a little bit for you so you can see exactly how well. Well, let's let him finish this before we do that. I'll have him move over to where you can see a little bit about his life. See, he's not your typical tortoise. Normally, an African spurred tortoise would live in a hole in the ground. They dig that hole and live down in that hole and stay nice and cool during the summer, nice and warm in the winter, but he can't do that. So he has a special tortoise hut that I built him, and we're going to have him walk over to there so you can kind of see what his crib looks like. Now, right now, it's still set in winter mode, And he does have an air conditioner during the summer. He has a heater during the winter. And right now in spring, he actually a lot of times will just live it outdoors and not even use the hut. But we're supposed to get rain in the next few days. And usually when that happens, once he gets done enjoying the rain a bit, he goes and hides in his hut just like any normal creature would do. And let's see, now that we've got him, you done with that? I'm going to have him walk over past the doorway to his, let's see what we've got. Oh, we got a bunch of grapes. You like grapes, right? He's like, oh, wait, what? Grapes are tasty. Want some grapes? He's like, I don't know, that pepper was really good. Yeah. See how he's smelling it to see, well, what is that? Are they real? Are they fake? I don't know that I've ever really fed him fake grapes. But he doesn't seem to be super enthusiastic. So I tell you what we'll do. We'll get the one thing I know he likes. He likes the lettuce. So let me move him along here. He's pretty fast for a tortoise with 2.5 legs, isn't he? There you go, buddy. Move along there. Boom. Right past the opening to his hut. So you can kind of see his hut right here. It's nice for putting his food on. And there we go. So if we go inside Stumpy's home, you'll see a long thing down in there. That's his heater. So that's in there all the time. We plug it in during the winter time and it keeps it nice and warm in here. I like how it echoes. But he will unplug that. And right now it's still getting a little cool, so it will still be plugged in. But then once we get into about middle to end of May, it gets so hot here that he needs to go somewhere to stay cool during the day. And so the back actually slides open. We have an air conditioning unit that sits in there, and it keeps this a nice toasty cool. Yeah, don't ever use that term again. It keeps it a nice cool 80 degrees in there. Actually, sometimes even cooler, which is just like what it'd be if you went down into the ground. Yeah, I love watching this guy eat. What is this, second head of lettuce today? Yeah. If anybody ever tells you, oh, you eat like a tortoise, you might want to take that personally. These guys can eat. I mean, I don't know about you, but I can't even eat a whole head of lettuce at one time, all right? And I outweigh this guy by a couple pounds. But he will sit here and just eat and eat and eat. And he's loving this lettuce, isn't he? All right. Well, I mentioned Stumpy's pretty famous and people all over the world know about him. And because of that, he has a very interesting story. And he actually had something that happened back in, I don't know, 2000-ish or something, I don't know, 8 years ago. So 2002, 2012, I mean. I think it was 2012. You might Google that because, believe it or not, Google Stumpy the Tortoise. You get a lot of hits there. He is that famous. Don't do that right now. Stay here and watch this, but do it afterward. But in 2012, I was in Denver, Colorado area doing shows with my animals, Stumpy the Tortoise being one of them. And my vehicle ended up getting stolen. I stopped at a store to get some supplies, and when I came out, somebody had stole my vehicle. And I was heartbroken. I mean, not just because it was my vehicle. Really, I don't care. I can get another vehicle. But all of my animals that were with me on that trip were in there, Stumpy being one of them. And of course, if you've ever had a pet, especially a special pet, you know it's just as much as having family, right? So it was kind of like my family got kidnapped. Well, I came out, found my vehicle was gone, ended up, of course, calling the police. Well, when I posted out that it had happened, a lot of people that are big fans of Stumpy the Tortoise started getting together and making phone calls, and suddenly there was a virtual Amber Alert for Stumpy the Tortoise that had been kidnapped, and I had news stations contacting me. I went in and did interviews with TV stations and things because Stumpy the Tortoise was missing. Well, as you probably already figured, it has a good ending, all right? I was worried, though, because it was in Colorado in October, and it was going to be below freezing that night. And if somebody stole the vehicle and just wanted the vehicle and the stuff in it that they could sell, they might just throw the animals on the side of the road. And, of course, if that happened, it was going to be too cold for Stumpy and his friends, and they were all going to die. So we put the plea out, please, you know, take the animals, take the computer, take all the equipment that was in there, my camping gear and stuff, but please leave the animals there. Well, I don't know if the thieves ended up hearing that, but the next morning I got a phone call from Denver Police Department that said that they were pretty sure they found my vehicle and they thought that all the animals were still good. Well, yep, come to find out, that morning a group of firemen got together every Thursday morning to play tennis at a certain local park tennis court. And they were over there, and when they pulled up, they noticed a Suburban sitting next to the park, and it was running. And they went, wait a minute, I think we saw a thing on TV last night. They checked the license plate, they called it in, and sure enough, it was my Suburban. Well, what had happened was the people that had stole it cleaned out all of my possessions that were in there, my sound equipment, my hunting or my camping gear, my tent and all that kind of stuff, and they ended up deciding that these animals were important, so they left it running with the heater on, so they were safe all night long. And sure enough, we got to recover them. I even got my vehicle back, and it wasn't even harmed. But of course I was missing all the stuff in there. But I didn't care, let's be honest, because Stumpy was alive, and because of that, I then spent the next few days doing more interviews about Stumpy the Tortoise's harrowing adventure being stolen in Colorado. And yeah, it was kind of an interesting situation, and he got to be even more famous because of that. Let's see, now he's kind of plowing through there. I know you probably want another, oh look, he's just running over it. All right, there, yeah, see, bright colors are good. He likes that. So, crunch. Okay, so we've got some questions coming in. Let's go ahead and take some of those while we watch Stumpy devour some more produce.
Darlene's wanting to know how many times a day does he eat?
Well, it's really a good question. How many times a day does he eat? People ask me that when they want to get a tortoise. You know, how often am I going to have to feed it and so on? Well, these guys, they basically graze all day long. So he has his grass out here that he eats, but we'll bring him stuff out in the morning and put it out here. And he may eat all of it at one time. He may come back to it later. He basically spends the majority of time that he's not sleeping walking around and eating. So it's really an all-day long type event. There you go. Yeah, oh, look, he's going to show you. You can back up a little bit there to reach his food.
Martha's asking, does he like crunchy food?
He does, but within reason. There's a few things that he just doesn't. He likes the taste of it, but it's hard for him to eat, and he'll pass them up given the opportunity. Most noticeably, things that are not fruits or leafy vegetables, like carrots. He's not real big on that. They're a little too hard for him. It's like me feeding him a stick. It's hard for him to eat carrots. So he will try and eat them, but there are sometimes a few things that impress me, like watermelon. He loves watermelon rind. He'll crunch through those as well. But he likes the leafy vegetables. He likes the crunchy fruit. He'll eat apples. Not really big on citrus. He doesn't really like the skin of the citrus. But like tomatoes, you know, they're a fruit that he really likes.
And Dorothy's asking, are all tortoises brown?
Not all tortoises, no. There's actually some different colors of tortoises out. There's a lot of different types of tortoises on the planet. We have some that are yellow and black. There's some that, a lot of them have a brown color. Maybe they're green. Speaking of crunchies, here's some more. You like the crunchy stuff, don't you? There you go. You can have some more if you'd like. Of course, I'm wondering if he's finally getting full now. Yeah, he's kind of looking around like you don't see any of this. All right, fine. We'll put this here. You don't have to eat it. That's good. If you want some, here's a nice variety. He's like, oh, I just lost it. I knew there was more. And, yeah. Want some help there, buddy? Here, got it? Take a bite. There you go. Here. Look at that mouth. Now, being a tortoise, he doesn't have teeth. He has more of a beak. And this is where you got to be careful, because if he bites my finger, yeah, you'll see why men feel cry. Well, maybe not, but it will actually hurt quite a bit. So you got to be careful. See if you want some grape. It's like, wait, I thought it was pepper. What are you doing? There you go. Get some of that. He can bite right through the stem and eat the whole entire thing. Oh, there you go. You got it? Take a bite. There you go. See, this is what we're talking about. Some of that, a little bit on the heart. You ready? Bite it down and pull it off. Oh, I'll get it for you. There you go. All right, there's some more. Go ahead, eat whatever it is that you want there. That works well. No. All right, so Stumpy the Tortoise, definitely an interesting creature, a special creature. and not one of these things you'll ever find in the wild, and obviously he wouldn't be able to live in the wild. By the way, if you end up checking him out, you might find another interesting story about him that was published online with some pictures, and that was a number of years ago, he actually got stuck down in a hole in the ground. See, he used to live with all the other tortoises. He couldn't dig a hole, but tortoises share holes on a lot of occasions, and so he would come out in the afternoon, evening, that time of the year, and we'd see him. Well, I happened to notice for about 2, 3, 4 days that I hadn't seen him out. So I went and investigated and found out that he actually had gone down a hole, and the tortoises had made just enough of a little dip in the bottom. He couldn't get over it. And so we ended up having to figure out a way to get him out and find out where he was in there. So we took a remote control car with a camera on it, sent it down to find out that and make sure he was down there. Once we found he was there, and we needed to get him out, we started digging holes trying to get down to him. I crawled down, I sent my son down, and we ended up having to dig up a lot of it and reach down with a big hook and grab his wheel and pull him out of there. And even though he probably was smart enough not to do that again, we decided it was time for him. Here, I'm going to back you up a little bit there, buddy. You're catching on the doorway. We decided it was time for him to have his own place. And that's why he's in his own area here. And of course, you know, it's not like it's total isolation. He's got fence. They can kind of look at each other through the fence and things. But he doesn't have to worry about living in with another tortoise and getting stuck in the hole. And of course, we do take him out into the yard with the other tortoises every once in a while. But what we found is, being a male tortoise, well, he wants to fight with the other male tortoises, and, well, he doesn't win. Because he has the wheel, he can't fight very well, and sometimes ends up getting flipped over and stuff. And so it's just a short time with him, with us watching him, that we're able to do that. But otherwise, I think we're all enjoying watching this guy eat right here. Well, I hope everybody enjoys the special story of Stumpy the Tortoise with a Wheel. Once again, I know it's not every day you get to see a tortoise with a wheel. And of course, this guy is super friendly, loves people. And once we're able to do the live shows again, he's going to be definitely showing up at a facility, library, or some kind of festival near you. Come out and see him. He's a load of fun after the shows because he likes being petted and people like getting their pictures with him. And he's just a regular little rock star, huh? Living the diva life with his own air-conditioned and heated little crib here. But before we go, I do want to once again thank everybody for the support. I hope everybody's enjoyed learning about all these different creatures that we have. Tomorrow, we're going to switch things up for you a little bit, and we're going to talk amphibians. That's right, the big word, amphibians. What's that? That's the animals that live on land and in the water, and have to in most cases. But we're going to talk amphibians tomorrow. So be sure and tune in for that. Also, I think I mentioned we've been getting a lot of different questions about different pets. What kind of lizard should I get if I want one, or snake? So those are coming up. But we've got some other strange creatures this week as well to talk about. So be sure and follow the web page here, or the Facebook page here, so you can see the events as we post them, and you know what's coming up next. With that being said, thanks again for everyone taking advantage of the virtual tip jar. It's been very, very helpful. If you need that information, it is, if you Zelle, Wildman, or payment at wildmanphil.com. If you Venmo, it is wildmanphil, all one word, capital W, capital P. And if you'd like to throw some money this way with PayPal, that is found at presentations@desertwildlife.net. Those are the 3 handles for that. We'll put those in the comment as well. Thanks again for watching the YouTube. And by the way, if you missed this live, don't worry. We keep them here on the Facebook page. Scroll through and watch all the past episodes. Get caught up on all the other crazy cool creatures. And most of these are getting moved over to YouTube, so you can easily share and link of a particular episode you liked with your friends. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this. I'm going to go ahead and, on behalf of Stumpy the Tortoise with a Wheel and all of us here, I do want to thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow. Same place, same station, same time, same everything, different animal.